Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM. You're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Talk Local to Me. I am Heather Alto with the Central Virginia Business Coalition, and I am here with my fabulous co-host.
How's it going?
How's it going?
I'm Mike Norfield.
Yeah, with Visiting Angels.
Yes.
I'll throw that out there.
There you go.
People need to know.
That's right.
So happy almost Memorial Day. Happy.
Is that this week?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
okay.
is.
Couldn't believe it.
Right.
Like graduation to all of our graduates in the area. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little teary eyed today. I had a 5th grade graduation for my little girl, and I sat in there. So Autumn and I went to see her graduate, and they played the song. What is it? The Pomp and Circumstance song. Yeah. And I don't even know why you do that for 5th grade, because I was already crying and she hadn't even gotten in the room yet. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And Autumn's just looking at me like,
Mom, you've lost your mind.
Yeah, what is wrong with you? She's in 5th grade. But anyway, so, lots of people have been graduating last weekend, this weekend. We've had college and high school graduations and everyone getting ready for summer. And there's just a lot going on.
The restaurants and the hotels have been hopping with all the college graduations going on.
Right. So, yeah, because especially when we had to do Liberty graduated on Mother's Day weekend, and that was a whole mess within itself. And but it's good. It's good to see our area kind of thriving and hopping, and tourism is getting kind of kicked off with people coming. The lake is starting to really see people coming in here at Smith Mountain Lake, the Parkway, that starts to kind of show, it starts to kind of pick up. Into May all the way through. I saw the statistic from Nicole Johnson with Destination Bedford today. She said normally picks up between the end of May, early November is kind of the time frame for the lake and the Parkway area.
Yeah, we should have gone to the lake today and done the podcast from there.
Oh, Woody, can we do that this summer? Can we be podcasting at the lake?
Yeah.
Can we do it from a boat?
Yes, we can.
That's what I'm feeling.
From a boat?
From a boat?
Yeah. Oh, from a boat. Okay. So I'm going to put that
I'll
out
just
there
check my
to our
insurance policy.
I'm like SpongeBob. I have my boat license. We can go out.
All right.
Go.
So I'm going to put that out there to our listeners. If there's one that has a boat that wants us to come podcast from your boat,
Podcasting on a boat.
call me, Heather Alto. I'm ready
I don't know
for it.
that. I have not heard one from a boat yet. That's a good idea. I will effort that while y'all are talking.
Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah. We'd be talking local on my boat. So anyway, we've got a lot of guests today.
We do.
And I'm excited for it because we're going to be talking about healthcare, which I think is really important, especially when you're going into the summer and you're boating and you're doing things. Accidents can happen. Yep. People, they get you're one of those people that didn't put sunscreen on. You've got 3rd-degree sunburns and all these things. You got to, you got to worry about your healthcare. And then we have a lot of events coming up in the next few months. And we have a couple people here today to talk about 2 events that are coming up rather quickly in the next 2 weeks or so that we want to let our listeners know about. So
for sure.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna kick it off with so I'm gonna make sure. And it's Kaya Health, correct?
You said it right, yeah.
Okay, Kaya. I wanted to make sure I said that correct. But we have Dr. Andrew Anderson here with us today.
Thank you.
To talk about Kaya Health. And I've had the pleasure of sitting down talking with Dr. Anderson and have actually been to his facility. And I think what he's doing is brilliant. And I think it's kind of something I'm seeing more people starting to, be a part of. So tell us a little bit about Kaya Health, and then we'll kind of dive deeper into it.
Yeah. So if you want to hear the origin story, it starts almost 9 years ago. I was chief resident in residency out in the Midwest, and I learned that I didn't love working with an administrative heavy healthcare system. And so that guided me out here to Lynchburg. I'm from Buena Vista originally, so kind of back where I came from.
So
and
Buena Vista, guys, just so you know, I'm Buena Vista. I had to throw that out there. They always have the things that talk about where are you from. So I'm just going to Buena Vista.
That is the way to say it if you're from Central Virginia.
Perfect.
And so long story short, I joined a wonderful practice here in town and in Lynchburg, and the world just changed out from underneath all of us. And I used to get about 20 minutes per patient. And the boss man said, we just need to see more patients in the same amount of time. It dropped to 17 minutes. Then it dropped to 13. Then it happened again. And it dropped to 11. And it happened again. It dropped to 9 minutes per patient. And I was running around with my head about to fall off every day. I had to come in an hour early to try to make ends meet. That didn't work. So I also stayed an hour late. That didn't work. So in addition to coming in an extra 2 hours every single day, and I'm already working 12 hours a day anyway, which is typical for docs. I shrank my already short lunch down to 8 minutes, had it down to a fine science. It was sandwich on the way to the bathroom and a bottle of water on the way out. And then I'd hit it again for another 6 to 7 hours. And that was after already doing 6 to 7 hours. And so I did that for a couple of years. And long story short, I was at the dollar store running an errand for my wife. A patient said, "Hey, Dr. Anderson." And I whipped my head around, and there's this patient that I kind of recognize. And I'm like, "Hey there, buckaroo." And I didn't remember her name, and I didn't really remember too much about her medical history. And she just goes into it, something that we had started talking about 6.5 months prior. And she's talking about specific medications. I said, "Do you remember the name of it?" And she said, "Well, it's," and I quote, "it's round, it's white, that one." Like, oh my gosh. So I barely survived that conversation, escape, go to the other aisle to escape that awkwardness. And my head whips up again when I hear in a male voice this time, "Hey, Dr. Anderson." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And he starts talking to me, a former patient, about another medical issue. And so I escaped that and maybe swore not to go back to that dollar store again. And my head was spinning out in the parking lot. And I just had this light bulb moment, like the size of Texas. And I was like, I'm a family doc. I don't specialize in a body system like a cardiologist, a neurologist, a nephrologist, whatever ologist. I, as a family doc, specialize in the patient, and I don't know my specialty anymore. And that prompted this whole series of things where I pulled out off of the shelf something that I'd written in a fit of frustration a few months prior. I just wrote down what I thought the ideal practice would look like. And it was just this pie in the sky kind of stuff where it was based off of things my patients complained about. It was like, do we hate waiting for our doctor for 40 minutes to get in, 20 minutes in the waiting room, 20 minutes in the exam room. And we hate scheduling 2 hours for every doctor's visit. We hate that we can't get anybody clinical on the phone within the first 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. We hate that we see a different doctor every time. We hate that when we're sick today, we can't get in for 2.5 or 3 weeks. So I was like, no waiting room, nurses answer the phone, blah, blah, blah. Just all this like made up stuff that doesn't exist in the real world. After this head spinning experience in a dollar store, I was like, let's give it a try. So I reached out to some folks here in town that really did a lot to help me. And 93 days after that experience, which is a blistering pace to open up a practice from scratch, I saw my first patient.
Wow.
And so I realized to have this utopian experience that I was looking for, I had to get rid of insurance. And so that's what we did. The way we make ends meet is we take a Netflix approach to your health, and we charge a low monthly fee. And so if people are sick and they need to binge watch us, we're there. If they're healthy, we're also there. Mm-hmm. And so we take a much smaller panel. So national average for family docs is somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 patients.
Wow.
In our area, it's a little higher. Just because we don't have enough doctors in the Lynchburg area. Mm-hmm. And so we take 600, and I cap all of our providers at 600 patients. So we take roughly a fifth. And so therefore we have about 4 times the amount of time. So in case you're counting, that's about 37 minutes, mm-hmm. which is how long on average we spend per patient. So we just have a lot more time. And it's been good for the patients, like really good. And we keep people out of the hospital. We keep people from going back to the hospital, going to specialists, getting surgeries, getting needless MRIs, things like that.
Right.
So it saves them a lot of money. It saves them from getting sick. And it's just been a real blessing. And then I got a year into it and realized, my life is better. And so I wanted to then shift to saving 2 lives at once, meaning both the patients and the healthcare workers that are in this like crumbling healthcare system. So we try to make a really good place for people to work. So we've had a few dozen folks work or reach out to us like unsolicited, which is unheard of in the Lynchburg area because docs just don't move here. Mm-hmm. And so that's been really cool. So we've been able to grow and provide well for our folks, which we love.
So I love the part you're talking about with the waiting room, because I've had people, and I've probably even thought it myself. You go to your doctor, and it's like if you're not there within 10 minutes of your appointment time, they can charge you a fee or you have to reschedule.
Yeah.
Yet you get there on time and then you sit for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And or 45 minutes. And so then you sit there and think, why is my time more or less valuable than their time? Because if I have stuff to do, and I think what you do without having that waiting room and you're able to get to your patients quicker and things like that, that right there in itself says a lot. And I think that's great. And I also know, just talking with you, about the things you were talking about, where you can come in and you pay that kind of Netflix approach. People can also do on call. Like if I'm just having an issue, I can even call and say, hey, I have this issue, and they can kind of walk you through it.
Yeah.
That too.
Like heaven forbid Junior steps on a nail at 6 p.m. and urgent cares are about to close, or, whatever. For like the average person, our patients, they just pick up a phone, they send a picture of Junior's foot, we text them back what to do, what to look out for,
And that's covered though in there. You're not paying any extra copays. You're not having to copay it. Copay. Like you're paying that one-time fee, and if they need you every day in that month for some reason,
heaven forbid. But
I'm just saying, heaven forbid.
Yeah.
You've got some people that are what you would call hypochondriacs that would call a lot of times, but
which we actually don't. Which I was kind of worried about. That I was like, oh my gosh, what
am I signing myself up
right?
for?
Right? Because I mean, every one of my patients has my cell phone, like right now. I mean, they can call me right now. But it's been fine. I mean, I've been on call 24/7, 365 for 5 years almost now. And it's been okay because I can take care of things when it's a baby size problem and not festering for the average 3 weeks that it takes to get in. And so we can catch things in their infancy when it's just an itty bitty problem.
And a lot of times, so like, for example, I'm so allergic to poison ivy. If I see a magazine and there's a picture of poison ivy in there, I break out. And we have Teladoc for our employees at Vizient.
Oh yeah.
So that's a great thing. That's also, kind of the same kind of thing where they're kind of always there. And a lot of times I just need I know what I need. I need a prescription so that my body can help fight that. And a lot of times that phone call can do that. And same thing with you. Sometimes it's a small problem where, in the past when that would happen, I'd make an appointment with my doctor and I'd have to block 2-3 hours off my calendar. I usually couldn't get in until 2 days later. By that time, I am just one big poison ivy machine. So, it's,
that's awful.
It's, so being able to get a hold of you quickly and kind of get, like you said, get the problem while it's small, it makes it a lot better.
Yeah.
process.
So you talked about taking off 2 or 3 hours. Like we've started working with a lot of employers for their employees because of that, because we can keep people at work, healthy, doing all those things from a productivity standpoint.
Yeah.
It is huge for the employer from being able to take good care of your family. It's huge and yourself. It's huge for the employees.
Yeah.
Because if you have a family and Junior gets sick, then you have to take out of work to get him out of school or, keep him home or whatever. And if you could, text us, or, just get in a reasonable amount of time, it's been a blessing to families and we really enjoy that.
That's good.
Well, I also think it's good because with, like you're saying, you get to know your patients better. And I know I have an issue. I had to call the other day. I called my doctor's office and I was like, hey, I'm going out of town because I'm going to Disney. And I have issues sometimes with motion sickness. And I want to ride Guardians of the Galaxy this time. And I'm scared I'll get sick. So I called and I said, hey, can I get another one of those patches that you put behind your ear? Because I'd gotten it the last time I went. And she called back because I left it at the nurse's thing. And she called back. She's like, well, we'll have to, you'll have to come in and be seen. And I'm thinking to myself, but why? I get this. It's obvious. You've given it to me before. I don't know, And I think that's kind of the thing. Sometimes I feel like they need the numbers to come in and they need to file that insurance and stuff like that. And so even if they do know you, they're still trying to get you through the door.
Right.
Yeah. So little known fact is they can't bill insurance unless they do what's called a physical exam. That's changed a little bit with the pandemic, but then now some of those exemptions are being removed. Actually, just over the last couple of months, that is officially federally being removed. That you can't do that anymore. We did that because we're in a pickle for the last 3 years. But now we're going to take it back to what it is. So patients have to come in, they have to do a physical exam, you have to file it with insurance, you have to have X amount of review of systems and blah, 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 all these things. And, thank goodness we don't have to do that. So I've literally gotten 3 of those texts in the last 2 weeks. I need that patch. I'm going on a 9-day cruise.
Mm-hmm.
I get this and I say, it'll be ready in 30 minutes.
Right.
And I do it there. And, sometimes they text me when I'm in the car or something like that. And, when I get home, I boom, send it off. And so it's been a real blessing. And people ask like, okay, but what if I have insurance? And so the majority of our patients actually do have insurance and they just recognize it's better care. And so they do that, whether their insurance is Medicare, Medicaid, through their employer, through Obamacare, or, whatever it is, they do that. We also get a ton of people that do something called like a MediShare type thing.
Mhm.
You're familiar with that?
Yeah.
We get a lot of that. That pairs really well, even to the point that I've reached out to some of these companies like Liberty Health Share, Samaritan Ministries, a couple others that are less common like Sedera and Zion, and they'll give our patients a discount on their monthly fee through them because they recognize that they've run all the numbers, probably even more than I have, which is impressive. I'm a numbers guy.
Right.
And they'll give our
Mhm.
folks a discount because they recognize that our folks don't go to the hospital as much. They don't knock on the door of a specialist as often, et
'Cause
cetera.
When you have regular doctor visits and someone kind of supervising that, you are healthier. So it's just like, we do in-home care and things like that. And our clients don't go to the doctor nearly as much after they have our services for a while than they do before, because we're kind of watching those things and just looking
Yeah.
for kind of the warning signs of, their diet isn't great. And if they keep going this way, then you're going to, end up in the
Mhm.
hospital or having a fall or something like that. And it's the same
Yeah.
principle. Like if it's easy for them to go to the doctor, they're going to go to the doctor.
Mhm.
And, especially if it's not taking 3 hours out of their day to try and
Yeah.
do it, it makes a huge difference on your willingness to kind of take that leap and go schedule an appointment. So
Well, I think, and I've been talking to Autumn, who we kicked out of here just a little while ago.
we did.
But her and her husband, so she's currently still on my husband's insurance,
Mhm.
for I think the rest of this year till she turns 25, 26, something like that. But her husband works with the company he works at. They pay for his insurance, but they will not allow her to have insurance if she makes over a certain number, like a certain amount a year. He
Yeah.
can't put her on his insurance and she makes over that. So, after that, she comes off of her dad's insurance, she's done. So I was telling her like to look into your program because I think for her that's going to be her very best bet because although Corey has insurance, she has nothing and will not have anything. So
Right.
it's going to be better for her to come to somewhere like Kaya Health and have somewhere she can go and get taken care of. So if you're, I've never even heard of that situation before. It's the first business I've ever heard say,
You can't make too much.
your wife cannot have,
That's-
it's a set amount and she can't make over it or she gets no health
That's
insurance.
weird.
It's weird.
Insurance is weird anyway.
Yeah,
but
it is weird. But, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of insurance in case that, because of what I do. I mean, they use the same algorithms that they use in casinos.
Right.
They do. They
Yeah.
literally do. Because
Yeah.
you think about it, the house always wins. It has to maintain, solvency so it continues to be financially secure as a casino. And the exact same thing. It's all statistics. It's all chances. It's all based on large amounts of data.
And they
I
give you a
mean-
little bit just to keep you coming back.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
you win a little and then
Yeah,
it's like,
And your yearly cost for insurance is so high, and then you go to the doctor and you still have to pay something anyway. And then if
yeah,
you
and
have
you're
a
essentially
surgery-
not insured for the first whatever your deductible is,
Right.
$7,000,
Yeah,
$10,000,
absolutely.
whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's the only major, it's the only one that I know of, industry in the nation that there's a federal cap on how much they're allowed to earn each year,
Mhm.
just because they can make whatever amount they want.
Right. And they dictate the schedule. And if they don't want to pay for a procedure or a test because they think it's too expensive, it doesn't matter if you need it or not. They're going to look at the
Yeah, I
the
spend a
numbers
lot of
portion. So
time on a phone convincing people that don't have a medical degree that somebody's going to be
right.
really severe, pretty poorly off if they don't get something done.
Mhm. So now I wanted to ask you a little bit about, you also do like hormone therapy.
We do.
And you have a depression clinic and
Yeah.
y'all do massage therapy, things like that. How does that work? Because I know y'all have different pieces and different providers within Kaya Health that people
Yeah,
can
so
come
we're
to and-
growing in that regard. The hormone replacement, it's something that me as a male doc just was kind of ignorant to, and I didn't
Mhm.
know what I didn't know. And then we had a nurse practitioner who is incredibly talented. Her name is Diane White, and she started doing it in our office, taking care of hormone replacement a couple years ago. And it has been a huge blessing. I've seen particularly women's lives change tremendously, whether it's postpartum depression situation, and they've had the Zoloft and the Lexapro and the this and that antidepressants pushed at them, and it just didn't get better. And heaven forbid it caused something like they got weight gain, or pick another side effect that those things cause. They got those, and it's not working on top of that. And then they got to the root of it with Diane, and they got better. Or it's a postmenopausal woman that's dealing with other issues, weight gain, that despite what she does, all the normal things are supposed to, things just aren't happening. Or women with something called PCOS that are told over and over they can't have children. And then after working with her for 18 months, actually we'll have a couple Facebook posts coming here soon with some success stories where parents are like, hey, we just had our first kid because of this.
Wait, so it helps with like infertility stuff too? Like they can work with some of that with the hormone?
Yeah. Yeah. It depends on what the infertility is from.
We should let Autumn stay. We can
Right.
hip her over there in that chair. But no, I think those are things that I think a lot of people like the red light therapy. Do they do like that sort of, or
So they don't, no, we don't do that
Okay.
yet, at least.
I love that yet.
But we are
He's like,
expanding.
Making
But yeah, so we do that, and we're just trying to recognize needs and fill those holes, just because we aren't strapped from insurance standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't have to play by those rules. And so we can really look at what the patients need and do just that. And there's a gajillion doctors and nurses and everybody in between who want to do that and try their hardest to do that, but they are restricted just by the financial side of it, and we are not. So
speaking of the financial side of
Yeah.
it, can you give us a kind of an overview or an idea of like how the plans look for families or
Yeah.
single, or how that all works out?
yeah, so we base it, it's a monthly fee, and so we base it off of how many people in your family join. And so it's anywhere between like I think it's $47 to $90 per person per month.
Okay.
And so if you are just an individual and it's just you, it's $90. If it's you and a spouse, like, so a couples plan is what we call it, it's $155 a month. And if it's like a family, the way we do it is a family of 5 members, that's $195 a month. And if you have a larger family, then it's just $15 per kiddo per month after that initial 5 members.
Okay.
And so that's how we do it. So if you have a really large family, which we have some, it's a great deal for
it's
them.
a great deal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
we
you're sitting
have-
here saying the prices, and I'm kind of like, that can't be. I heard that wrong. Like, there's no way that's right.
Yeah,
That's-
and we work really hard. I mean, really hard to get prices down. I mean, this has been very much a labor of love. Like, I took an oath, to do no harm, right?
Right.
And so I recognize that was more than just prescribing medications well or doing procedures well or, whatever. I realized that harm is coming in many different forms. And some of that was financial access or lack thereof, or even access to get on my schedule in a timely manner.
Mhm.
And so I really took that to heart, the fact that like I am trying to do no harm and even to do better than that, to really do good and to heal for real. And so we try to approach that from all aspects. And so like our lab work, that's one of the things. I worked really hard in the beginning, had some help from a wonderful doctor here in town, Dr. Ferrego. And
I love Dr.
do you know him? Yeah.
I do know
Doug is great.
Yes.
Um,
Little fact here real quick about Doug. Do you know he invented the things catchers wear on the back of their legs when they're bending down, the knee pad things?
the knee
right there?
saver.
The knee savers.
Yep.
That catchers in baseball?
Had no clue.
Yep, there you go. A little known fact
Wow,
for
look
today.
at that.
He's in
Anyway,
the
sorry.
Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yes, he is.
Wow.
So like labs were one of those things. I like literally practiced my speech in the mirror, like, cause I wanted to get lab prices down, because
Mhm.
that's something that makes it difficult for patients. And so I was going to be happy with 25, 30% discount. And to the credit of these labs we work with, they got it down to about 90%.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Sometimes a little more. So like a complete blood cell count or a complete metabolic panel, that's something you'll get every time you go to the doctor and get blood work done, just about. And for like a complete metabolic panel, that's $186 if you do it in other facilities here in town. At our office, it's $10.
Mhm.
And so that one's better than 90%.
Yeah.
If you're doing the math. Things like that. And so that's been a real blessing, because we've been able to, in the past, before I was like, hey, we need to do this blood work. And they were like, That would cost me $1,000, literally $1,000 to do those 3 pieces of blood work. And now I could be like, yeah, that's $65. And they're like, oh, yeah, yeah. And then so we can check that immediately. We don't have to wait till it's so bad that it's worth $1,000 to them,
Right.
because it's a lot easier and quicker for it to be worth $65 to them.
Right.
And we can also check some of that extra blood work, so we can uncover things that we never would have access to before from a financial standpoint. And that's been really good for me as a physician, because I'm just working with more data. And then it's also good for the patient because they're working with more data and they can get that information for their health and the health of their family and loved ones much quicker.
And if you have a
rush.
medical issue that can be caught early, it's so much easier to treat in the early stages than it is kind of when you get down to the point to where like
Yeah.
this is really affecting my life. What's wrong with me? And then they, find something catastrophic and you're kind of dealing with all that. So
Yeah, and patients are incentivized to come and call us, before. And I mean, I'm a doctor. My daughter, she'd come to me. She's 12 now, but when she was younger, she'd be like, Dad, my stomach hurts. And I was like, well, until your stomach hurts $50 copay bad,
right.
come back to me.
Hmm.
And now if, like being in a model like this, she says, my stomach hurts. And be like, okay, we're already paying Dr. Anderson, let's give his office a call and
Yeah.
we'll get on the books for next week,
Right.
or whenever. It can be tomorrow if it's, if it's bad or whatever. And so, so we catch things small, when they're small. And so the utility or the utilization rate, I think is what they refer to it as, is about double in our office that it is for the average family doc. So the average person will see somebody this amount of times. They'll pretty much see us twice that amount. So they utilize us more and therefore utilize everybody else in the health system a lot less.
Okay, so I have one more, and it's probably a really weird question, and I don't know if you do it or not, but it just hit me while I'm here, and you know me, I just come up with crazy stuff. Do you offer, like, let's say, for example, my organization,
Yeah.
Virginia, I have 2 employees and myself. We have no health care. Do you have any small businesses that say, hey, I'd like to pay for my employees' monthly expense? And can they do that, for one? And 2, is that something that can be pre on taxes? Like they can still do that as like a pre-tax purpose? Or you may not know that part. That may be something is
I can
way
comment.
above our head. But I'm just thinking, like, for a small business, I can't talk today, people.
So-
the cost is minimal compared to what they're probably paying these large healthcare providers to try and get insurance for their.
Yeah, it's a literal fraction. And so the answer is absolutely. Actually, we're doing that a lot more because
Okay.
there have been people who have recognized, just like you did right now across the table from me, that like this makes a ton of sense from a lot of angles.
Right.
Like one, you can offer healthcare to some degree. If you want to know the math, it's a little over 80% of all healthcare claims are primary care. So by extension, we cover 80%, a little over that, of everything anybody needs. And so, I mean, we do procedures in our office. We even do more than like what the average office does. If heaven forbid you get stitches or something, you need them, and we'll just have you come in the office. We'll stitch you up, and that's covered. If you need a joint injection, that's covered. If you need to have your cholesterol taken care of, and we can talk about all that, that's all covered. And so employers are starting to recognize that, and that's something we'd like to provide more, because that is the largest expense for overhead for any small business is healthcare.
Mike,
it's-
I'm putting that on the next board meeting.
Because I've looked at
agenda.
shopping for our employees, and we average about, just depends on how busy we are at the time, 20 to 40 employees.
Yeah.
And like looking at the cost of healthcare, I shop it every year, and we have yet to find a deal that's like good enough. But like this, like I could see us doing something like this for our employees and being able to
Yeah,
handle that. I mean,
It works so well. And, it can work for larger companies. We had, and I can't mention names because it's not final, but a very large company in the area has talked to us about it because it just makes a ton of sense. And you look at it from a financial standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. You look at it from a productivity standpoint for employees and their families, it makes an insane amount of sense.
Yeah.
Well, even if a business owner just said, hey, we'll just pay for the single employee
Yeah.
and have them at least have that coverage, or say we'll pay that much out of your family. You still have to cover the family portion, but we'll pay.
or even do a
for the
reimbursement
employees
where, hey,
portion.
you give us a copy of the invoice and we'll reimburse you for it, so that there's not the whole administrative side on our side of it. Like you could also do
There are
do
so
that.
many things that
There are a
we
lot
can
of,
do.
we
Yeah.
could talk about this for just 2 hours.
Yeah.
So
I'll start a whole plan.
yeah,
It's going on my board meeting agenda. My next board meeting.
I'll try to make it.
Yeah. He's on my board now. So I'm like, hey. So anyway, all right. So tell us, Dr. Anderson, if someone's listening, how can they get a hold of you or learn more about Kaya Health and come in and either get registered or have the initial consult with you?
Yeah. So KayaHealthClinic.com. And Kaya is spelled Kaya. So it's KayaHealthClinic.com. And so if you're an employer, we've got a little section that you can read about that. And then we've got a little form you fill out. It'll go straight to our COO, Julie, who's actually sitting in the same room as us right now. And she'll kind of white glove take care of that. And if you just want to join as your family, you just go and you can sign up right there.
Oh, awesome.
And it's all online. That was one of the things that I got annoyed about when I would go to the dentist office. No offense to my dentist in case he's listening. Like every time I would get the exact same paperwork to fill out. And I understand from a clinical standpoint why that has to happen sometimes, but I just got annoyed with it. And, like, oh my gosh, yes. Nothing's changed. And so that's one of the things we changed is you fill out the paperwork once at home, at your own pace, and that's it. And so next time you come in, it's not like name and insurance, they're at the front desk and can you fill out this paperwork, give it back to the front desk when you're done. It's none of that. It's like, hey, Jessica, it's good to see you again. We've got all your information ready to go, everything. Like we don't even have to talk about that. Come right back with me. And it's, people wait. I used to time how long people wait in our waiting room, but it was less than 2 minutes.
Nice.
And so I stopped timing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
And I would love to have you back, in a couple months or so. We can kind of chat and get more in depth. And I want to find out about Pat, apparently, your car. I didn't get a chance to talk about Pat. I look at things. I do research.
Yeah, that's my 25-year-old Jeep.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. I was reading your description. It was like, make sure he's a car. Like talk to him about Pat. So I want to hear more about Pat later on. Or even if we have time at the end of the show, we may bring Pat back in. But I do want to chat a little bit. We have some upcoming events going on, and I'm going to start with Blake, and then once we talk about the new puzzled event coming up, we'll swap you and Susan over here out. And we're going to talk about wine. So we got all kinds of stuff going on today. So how are you, Blake?
Doing great. How are you doing today, Heather?
I'm good. I'm glad you could come and talk with us. I know you guys have a big event coming up soon for Puzzled.
We do.
And so, first of all, tell everyone what Puzzled is and what what you guys support.
Yeah. Puzzled is an event for children and adults with autism and other special needs. And most people say disabilities. I say different abilities because I don't believe anybody has a disability. We all have different abilities. So on June 3rd, we're going to be at the Hillcats with Autism Awareness Night, and it's going to be different than what it was in the past. It hadn't happened since COVID, and I've been working with the Hillcats to make it happen. And they finally told us yes this year with the help of Foster Fuels. And in the past, they had just one person there. Well, what we decided to do, we're going to have multiple people there. So we'll have the Blue Ridge Autism Achievement Center, Virginia Institute of Autism, Amazement Square, Foster Fuels, Impact Autism, DARS, Project Lifesaver, Stand Up, Lucille, and of course Puzzled. And each one of us will have a booth set up and we'll give information to parents, and it's about giving information. But Puzzled will also have a silent auction where you can win different kinds of prizes. And the Hillcats are doing something special. All the players will wear autism awareness jerseys in the game. And they're going to actually have a raffle for those jerseys. And what will happen,
that's cool.
if you're the winner of that, the player will sign the jersey for whoever wins it. And then all the money is going to be donated to Amazement Square and our Everyone is Special program. So we're super excited about that. And of course, it's a fireworks night, so that makes it even better. And you can order tickets online, and that's the best way to go. It'll save you $2, and then Puzzle will get a percentage of that. So we're super excited about that. it's just exciting for it to come back because, like I said, it hadn't happened since COVID, and
Mhm.
we've been working on them since COVID to try to let us do it, and they finally told us yes. So we're super excited about doing that.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I can't say, and I know Blake has been on before when we have talked about the puzzled car and truck show that comes up in October, correct?
October 21st.
October 21st. So and I know he's been on before, and I'll say this again. I've said it before. I've never met somebody so passionate about a program or an event as Blake is about serving on with Puzzled and serving those with autism and all that he does. There's not probably, I don't think there's a day that goes by that he does not pop up on my social media somewhere, advocating or, just pushing the events. I saw where you posted that you bought your own ticket. You didn't get a free ticket. He's like, I bought my own ticket so I could come in and get my, go and be a part of this event. So I think that's just great. And I hope more people will get more involved with Puzzled as they learn more about what you're doing. The truck show that last year was wonderful. I had a great time there.
Well, and we appreciate that. And, it's funny about the tickets because, people kept asking for free tickets. And I wish I could give everybody a free ticket.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted people to know, hey, we're buying tickets. It's going for a good cause. So, I want the people know, hey, I'm going to buy my ticket just like the rest of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Because all my guys, everybody's helping, even though they're volunteering, every single one of them bought their own tickets, and like I said, the money goes to our Everyone is Special program at Amazement Square. As adults, we can all help a child fight. If you would just give your hand to one child in your day, just one child, it would make the biggest difference in the world. That's why I fight hard. So every day, I want people to see my fight, and hopefully they'll fight too, because our kids need it so bad.
The train likes to come through every now and then,
I
right?
think that train gets closer every week.
Like one day it's just going to roll right on in.
Right?
I hope not.
But yeah, so Blake was also our Citizen of the Year this year through the Central Virginia Business Coalition when we had our business awards. And I will say, like, Blake, honestly, with our judges, like it was a landslide. And I don't usually, but it was just seeing everything that you did and do for the community. Is awesome. And what you're putting together with the Hillcats, like the jerseys, like I didn't even know that part. That's awesome. The jerseys and the autographs, really like that's amazing.
Well, and we appreciate it. And, I was so thankful to get the award. And actually, when they called my name, I thought it was wrong because I didn't think it was any way in the world that I could win an award because I'm not doing it for awards. At the end of the day, it's about the kids. And, usually I don't like awards and that kind of thing because that's not what it's about. But that was a shock to me because I didn't think that, I did enough in the world to get an award. So, I was honored to get that award. And like I said, at first I was shocked. I was walking away when you called my name. So I was shocked.
What are you walking away for? Just like, I'm going to go sit down. But no, I think, you are right. You are very humble about everything that you do. And I think that's something that's very special about you. And
one of the reasons it was a landslide, because he doesn't do it for the awards.
I think everyone can see that.
It's he believes in the cause, and that's important.
Mm-hmm. So with this going on June 3rd, is that something like, is it rain or shine? Like, what happens if it's rained out, or will there be another date, or how does that work?
No, it's rain or shine. So,
okay.
No matter what happens, it's going to go through. So June 3rd, the gates open at 5:30. First pitch is at 6:30. And then, like I said, after the game, there's fireworks. So, yeah, rain or shine, no matter what, it goes on,
Mm-hmm.
So
and
it is what it is.
Sheena and I went to the Star Wars night at the Hillcats the other night because why wouldn't we? And because I'm a huge nerd, if you don't know. But it rained pretty hard, and it was pouring down rain before they even decided to cancel it. So if it's just a light rain, if it's going to pass over, they'll keep going, and if not, they still did the fireworks, and that was worth the price of admission alone. Mm-hmm. So it was it'll be a great event. So I'm excited for it.
And I really want people to take something in account. It might rain outside, but the kids still need us. Mm-hmm. COVID. People realize what these kids go through every day. Lots of times there's isolation for them. They're put in a corner. People count them out. So people really got to look at COVID. That's helped autistic children and people with different abilities live every day of their life. So just think about COVID and how it affected you, and then think about how it affected the children. Same thing with the rain. Autism don't stop because of the rain.
Right.
So I'm hoping that people, no matter what happens, they'll come out. We've always had very good luck. In the 10 years we've been doing this, we've only postponed an event one time in 10 years. We've had snow, we've had rain, and last year it was hurricane, and we didn't have any choice. We had to, because of people's safety.
Right.
So.
Now, if somebody is listening and wants to help support Puzzled, whether it's this upcoming event or the event in October, what's the best way to go about doing that, Blake? Like if they want to reach out to you and show their support?
The best way to get a hold of us is puzzledevents.com, or you can go on Facebook and just look up Puzzled. And like Heather said, I stay on that phone 24/7, because I'm fighting for the children. If it weren't for Puzzled, I wouldn't even be on Facebook, but it's a good platform for us to be able to help the children. And, I do it a lot to let the kids see, hey, there's people that do care about you. There is people that will fight for you. So that's the best way to get a hold of us. And I appreciate y'all having us here today.
Yeah. Well, make sure if you're listening, get your tickets for June the 3rd. Go out and support Puzzled, support, all the other, you mentioned quite a few people that are going to be there with tables that all have very good needs in our community, whether they are going back to autism or other sorts of, what did you call it? Not disabilities.
Different abilities.
Different abilities. I love that. Go ahead and get your tickets and come on out and support a great cause and, see some fireworks too. That's always a plus. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, thank you so much, Blake, for coming on with me.
Thank y'all for having me today.
Me and Mike, sorry. I don't mean to put you in the corner over there.
I know I'm short, but don't overlook me.
I'm almost, we're both short. So anyway, thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. So we're gonna let him in
or play a little
musical chairs.
Would he cue the music?
I would like to really quickly though before
some
we
elevator
chat with
music.
Susan. I didn't even mention our Empower event and our winners.
And what a great event that was.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about it because you're talking about different abilities and things like that. So we held our 5th annual Empower Women in Business seminar last Thursday. We had about 150 women in the room. Our theme was Stories of Resilience. We heard from amazing speakers and an amazing women's panel talking about all the different things they've struggled to go through, whether it was through depression or whether it was through the loss of someone, whether it was through just work in general, burnout, things like that. So it was an amazing event. And then we gave away our Athena Awards. And I would, really just quickly like to mention a big congrats to our Athena Award winner, Trish Kessler with Empower Counseling. And
she didn't win just because of the name.
No, actually, I didn't even think about that. But
I saw that and I thought it was hilarious. But anyway.
Yeah. And then our Young Professional Athena Award, Kylie Harvell with Sound of Mind Designs out of Roanoke. She was our Young Athena. So congrats to both of them for
both very well-deserved
awards. So now next on to the CVABC's next event, because we never not have one. We've got Susan here with us with the Peaks Retreat and Adventure Center in Thaxton. And we're partnering with them this year to bring out the first annual Peaks Art and Wine Festival. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
And so let's talk a little bit about the Peaks Retreat in general, because I want people to know, what you guys do. And the venue is beautiful. If you haven't been out there, we had our Lead On Summit there a few months ago. And a lot of our business owners were like, wow, this is gorgeous. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, we're sitting on 66 acres out in Thaxton. So we've got a little bit of everything. We've got a really large event space with a 3,500 square foot main hall with a nice patio around it with lots of extra seating. We've got 2 lodges. We can sleep 80 people total. We've got a zip line. We've got a canoe pond. We've got archery range, hiking trails. We just installed a new disc golf course. So we host, all kinds of types of events. So we do some outdoor education type things with summer camps and things like that. But we also do, corporate events, leadership retreats, and now a wine festival.
So I've always wanted to do a wine festival just because A, I like wine. And B, I like wine. So then I said, let's do a wine festival. And the Peaks Retreat Adventure Center was such a beautiful place to host something like that. And luckily, when we were talking a while back about doing it, they were like, yeah, this would be great. And so it's coming up pretty quickly.
June 10th. right around the corner.
And we have some great wineries.
Yeah, so we've got Fables and Feathers Winery, Virginia Mountain Vineyards, Mattapony Winery, Rebec Vineyards, and we even have a meadery. Graham Ordinary Meadery is going to be joining us as well.
Yeah, and I've never had that. I mean, they're relatively a new meadery.
I think so.
opened in
Yeah,
our
they're
area.
right at the base of Sharp Top.
Right. So, so we've got 4 wineries and a meadery coming out, and we did something a little different this year, like because we're kind of starting small. It's our first year.
Yeah.
And so our art vendors all had to be vetted. And they are actual artisans. So you're not going to be coming out and seeing, no offense to those that do, like the Pampered Chef and the Mary Kay's and all that. It's true art vendors, create your own crafting type, artisans that we'll have out there. So
cool.
we're hoping people will come out, drink a little wine, spend a little money.
Yeah.
Drink a lot of wine, spend a lot of money. No, I mean, however you do it. But and we have about 10 or so vendors set up. Because we want people to be able to spend, and that's the thing. You go to some of these wine festivals, and there's a lot of wineries, and there's a lot of vendors, and I see where more people spend their money, in different places. So then, like, you're not really spending it at the wineries, which is kind of the point, or the vendor. So having it kind of small gives you the advantage of not, being able to kind of spread the love per se to everyone there.
For sure. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about y'all have a kid zone.
We do, yeah. So got a little bit of everything. So shout out to a couple of our art vendors real quick too, and then we can get into the kitchen. So we got Creations by Kelly, Forest Splinters and Threads, Dante Spirit, Crafts by Elizabeth, The Scent Girls, and more. Carriage House Studio and Juliet's Jewelry, and a couple more. So that's kind of one area. So the wineries and the art will kind of be all mixed in there. We have a stage, so we'll talk about some music in a second, and then kind of right behind that, we've got actually a full-size basketball court and a full-size volleyball area as well. So we're going to use that as a kid zone. So we have a little mini slack line. My 3-year-old loves to play with sand toys, so we'll probably have a lot of that going on. Chalk. We have a bubble machine. We got a face painter. We have like as many yard games as you can imagine. We just bought a bunch more. So we'll have a whole area set up for the kids to hang out and play, because I know my kids will be there wanting to do some fun things too.
Yeah. And I think that's, I wanted to put that out there because I wanted people to know that this is a family festival. People think, oh, it's wine. So disclaimer, your kid can't have wine, because, they have to have an ID and all those, per
all
our,
that fun stuff.
yeah, per ABC licensing rules. So, but we do want families to be able to come out and enjoy themselves as a family and see all that, like the Peaks Retreat has to offer, because
it's a beautiful
lot.
venue out there. So we had the Lead On Summit there with the CVABC, and it was fantastic. It's the first time I'd ever been out there, and it wasn't as hard to find as I thought it was going to be, because she kept saying, "Be careful, it's kind of out there," and it is. But it's great because like there is no traffic noise, there is none of the distractions of being in the middle of a city, and it's beautiful out there. It's a beautiful facility. Everything's clean. Which is always important to me. Nice and easy to get in and out.
Yeah, we put a lot of work into it since we bought it.
Yeah.
I'd also invite people, just to come check out the facility. We'll have our hiking trails and our disc golf course open as well, and so that'll be an opportunity. So if you bring your kids, that's a great thing to do, kind of even before you start hitting some of the music or some of the wineries, just kind of explore around there a little bit too.
And I believe we have kids 12 and under are free.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to pay to bring them out and have them, listen to some of the
Better
music and
start
play the
teaching
games.
your 13-year-olds now that they're 12.
Yeah, right.
So
He'll give you 2 weeks.
not that I've ever done that.
We won't be carding anybody.
Yeah,
in terms
card
of the
your
kids.
kids. I
Only
need
the
birth
adults.
certificates.
Yeah.
So we do have, you mentioned we do have music, and tell us a little bit about, they have a beautiful stage at the Peaks Retreat. So
So we call it our sunset stage because the sun sets behind. It's funny, we bought the facility. We're like, why is the stage right there in the middle of the field? And we realized it was because the sun sets behind. It's really, really great place. We actually have a couple of weddings coming up with people using that stage. So we've got Palmyra, the band. So they play in Roanoke. A couple of them are from that area. I think they actually live either in Charlottesville or Richmond now. But great local band that I'm really excited about. I've seen them a couple times. And we also have Hunter Overstreet coming out. And I know you know.
I know Hunter. Yeah, Hunter Overstreet he's played for Centerfest probably the last 4 years that we've had, maybe even longer than that. And I see him a lot on the stages at the Garlic Festival, and he does a lot of different things. So he does a lot of covers. Very talented, he knows he has to play my favorite song because I'm that groupie.
Is that
like,
the Eve Six song?
No, actually, he plays the Jen Blossoms. It's "Hey Jealousy." It's my other
Okay.
favorite song.
Okay.
But I am like a groupie because anytime I go where he is, I'm like, Hunter, play my favorite song. And he's like, okay. But yeah, so he's going to be there starting the day out for us, and then we'll have Palmyra, and then we did have a band cancel last minute, so we are still looking for maybe one more band. So if anyone's out there listening and says, hey, I just want to come out and play, have a good time,
come on out. We'd love
give us a call. And big shout out to Hill City Electrical Services. They are sponsoring our wine glasses. So everyone who does attend does get a wine glass to go in, and they've sponsored those. So they have their.
I'm a fan
their
of Hill
names.
City Electrical.
Yeah,
'cause
they're pretty.
That's
cool.
where my son
Oh,
works. So
and there you have it. So
I guess the owner's okay too.
yeah, he's.
Does he listen to the podcast?
I don't know. I was trying to get him to come on this month because it's Electrical Safety Awareness
Well,
Month
if
or something.
Matt, if
but
you're
he
listening,
couldn't.
you're the greatest, and if not, then he's terrible. But no, I'm just kidding. But no, it's great that they've supported that and put the wine,
Yes.
gotten their logo on the wine glass. So
And then we have Porterhouse Catering is going to be there with
barbecue.
food. So we've got barbecue going on. There's a
They're
VIP
really good, too.
section. Let's talk about tickets.
Yeah, for sure. So, regular tickets are $25 in advance, $30 at the door, and they do include that collectible wine glass and wine tasting for those 21 and up, of course. If you're 12 and under, it's free. We are asking designated drivers and kind of guests 13 to 20 to pay just a $10 fee
That's
to
not
come
bad.
out. But you have access to the facility. You can go walk on the trails and enjoy the music and all that good stuff. So.
Right.
We also have VIP ticket options. So those
do.
folks actually get in an extra hour early. So we're open up for us. They have kind of that nice direct access with the wineries and kind of exclusive access for the wineries and the art vendors from 10 to 11. We also have Hunter Overstreet starting around 10:30. So they'll get a little bit of extra music. And then they also get parking right up front. We are a large facility. And so we have a decent amount of parking. But if you get there a little later in the day, you might have to park a little farther away. So you get that upfront parking, which would be really nice. And then access to our indoor facilities as well.
So they get access to the indoor bathrooms and not the porta potties and all those things. So we have limited VIP tickets.
And how much were the VIP tickets?
Tickets are at 40.
Yeah, they're 40.
That's totally worth it.
Those
it
have
is
to
totally
be
worth
in
it.
advance, I believe.
Yeah, those are in advance only.
Order now because they're going to sell out quick because I'm going to
Yes.
buy all of them.
Yeah. So, and I've been to quite a few wine festivals, and $25 for a wine festival
Isn't bad at all.
Not bad at all to go and be able to enjoy the day out there. We're there from 10 to 6. So you can come, noon to 2 or, whatever you're able to do. But you can look us up, it's the Peaks Art and Wine Festival on Facebook. And you'll see on there is an Eventbrite ticket link that you can click on to get your tickets, and you want to go ahead and get those reserved, as soon as possible. And we're looking forward. Susan's been doing a great job posting about our different vendors and all the things that we have coming up. So go on there and follow that page, because in the next week or so, you're going to really see an influx of everything. We're going to really be posting all the different things we have going on.
What was the name of that page?
It's the Peaks Art and Wine Festival. Right?
Well, so
Hold on.
you can look on Facebook. We have an event that we're co-hosting called the Peaks Wine and Art Festival.
Yep.
You can also go to thepeakscenter.org. We've got tickets right up front, so you don't have to click to the peakscenter.org/wine festival. They're right up front, so we can get people to sign up.
I mean, we've got like 173 people that said that they're responded going or interested. So can you all just get your tickets, please? Because I need to make sure I know how many are coming. And
Yeah, that'd be
interested.
great.
That'd be great. That's the only feature about Facebook that I really, it really is just like, I can just click I'm interested in like everything and then not go. But I know a lot of people do it as placeholders. But yeah, you definitely want to go ahead and grab those tickets.
Yeah, I just did it I added it on Facebook and then just click the interested thing. So it'll
Thanks so much.
remind me that I
We
forgot
expect to see
do
you
it.
there.
And share it out. We are going to be listen to a couple of our radio stations in the next week or so, because they will be giving away some tickets. So
Nice.
you can find ways to get free tickets to the event. We do have a few opportunities for that. If you're attending Coffee Talk this Friday at Independent Lifestyles, which is our host for this month
And that's in Madison.
in Madison Heights,
Yep.
we're giving away a few VIP tickets at that event.
Oh, I guess now I have to go.
So yes. So
Awesome.
anyway, is there anything I left out, Susan? I feel like
I think so. You're talking about wineries, food, VIP tickets,
important
Beautiful
stuff,
views,
winery.
sunsets.
trails,
Yes.
Weddings.
golf. Yeah, come
Yeah.
on out. We'd love
And we
to
have some, and I have to say too, because again, I love wine. I say that a lot. So anyone who wants to send me one, no. But the wineries we have there, I will say, are some
really good.
wonderful wineries. Virginia Mountain Vineyards has one of my favorite, my Virginia white wine, or actually Virginia red too. See again. But Fables and Feathers, I'm excited to try the meadery, and of course Rebic. They do a great job. They host the Garlic Festival in the fall, so we always try and support all of our local.
And especially
festivals.
because those wineries are so far away, this is a great way to do. It's a pub crawl, but is it a wine walk? What is it? So you can kind of
yeah.
hit those and see. Maybe I would want to go visit those as like a destination.
Yeah.
and things like that. So
Absolutely.
Okay. And as Autumn just saunters back in here, like it's not the end of the show.
leaves at the beginning,
Hey,
comes at
guys.
the end.
So anyway, well, guys, thank you so much for being here with us today,
Yeah, we
so we
appreciate
could talk about our upcoming events. Dr. Anderson, thank you so much for talking to us about Kaya Health. I think there's been a lot. This has been an action.
It's been a full.
Okay,
I'm gonna have
not
to go home and
action
take a nap.
packed, but like a lot of information. Very informative. Talk Local to Me segment. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure that you are downloading and subscribing to Grove Street FM and Talk Local to Me. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a minute of Talk Local to Me.
That's right. CBABC.org.